Hello, my name is Neal Sausen. I'm a longtime Freddie Gruber student. I'm going to present a short video highlighting one of Freddie's concepts, technical concepts for developing the hands, specifically the wrists. And the way we did that is we practiced or studied. I studied with Freddie a series of exercises called the fulcrum wrist bounce. Spent about a good year and a half, although it's an ongoing thing. I'm still doing it to this day. The fulcrum wrist bounce is a very relaxed, natural way of developing the wrist muscles and the grips and a feel for the stick, and we'll get right into it. The fulcrum wrist bounce for the right hand is a two-measure exercise, a two-measure phrase, the way he taught it to me originally. He called it the off exercise because the index finger is off the stick. It actually lays on top of the stick, timbali style, the way you would play a traditional timbali. And I'm holding the stick loosely with the second finger and the thumb. Holding the stick between the first joint of the second finger and the pad of the thumb. And with the index finger extended straight out, in line with the top of the stick, I'm going to play a measure of quarter notes to a measure of eighth notes. Quarter notes to eighth notes. That's all it is. Now what's happening is the kinetic energy released when the stick strikes the drum is more than enough energy, more than enough force to propel the stick back to the starting height, back to the straight up position. I'm just holding on to the stick and I'm just along for the ride. I'm not pulling the stick back up or snapping the stick or constricting the muscles to get the stick back up. The muscles are totally relaxed and I'm just letting the stick trampling. It's like bouncing a ball, like dribbling a basketball. The tip of the stick is the ball, the basketball. The pad or drum is the court, the concrete floor, cement floor. And I'm just holding on and I'm dribbling the stick. Basically, it's just dribbling the stick. Going from quarter notes to eighth notes in time and very slowly. This is not to be done fast, maybe between quarter note 60 to 80, 84, you know. So the exercise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3. This is the off exercise, the preparatory exercise for the fulcrum wrist bounce studies, which will come later. Do this for about 5-10 minutes, and the wrist will start to slowly loosen. The fulcrum for the right hand, very important. I want to take a quick second and talk about the fulcrum. It's not the grip, it's the second finger, the middle finger. It's the long bone between the first and second joint. That's where I feel the weight of the stick shift, the weight shift take place. When the stick is up, bounce in the up position, I feel the weight in the ass end of the stick, the heel of the stick. When the stick is down, striking the pad, the weight of the stick is in the bead or tip of the stick. So it just shifts over the middle finger from tip to heel to tip to heel, back and forth. So again, it's a bar of quarter notes to a bar of eighth notes. Very simple. After a few minutes of that, I allow the finger, the index finger to slide down back onto the stick opposite the thumb, and I continue the same feel as the previous exercise, only this time it's just a series of straight eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Again, the weight shift takes place over the second finger, the long bone between the first and second joints. And with a little practice and attention and concentration, you'll feel the stick, the weight of the stick shift from the ass end of the stick to the tip of the stick over this second finger. Okay, so that's the on exercise for the right hand fulcrum wrist bounce. The off exercise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, and with the index finger off the stick, bouncing the stick like it was a basketball. To the on exercise, where I allow the index finger to slide down opposite the thumb to form the grip, and I just continue with a series of eighth notes. Again, the wrist is relaxed. The stick is always coming up off the drum, and the stick motivates the hand. The hand never motivates the stick. The left hand, traditional grip. The fulcrum or balance point is the crotch of the thumb and the index finger. This is a four-part exercise. The off exercise for the left hand traditional grip, the fingers are extended straight out, not touching the stick, not motivating the stick in any way, and I'm just bouncing the stick from the grip as bouncing a basketball. Again, the weight shift takes place over the grip when the stick is in the up position. When it bounces up, the weight's in the ass end of the stick. when the stick comes down to strike the pad, the weight is in the tip of the stick, the bead of the stick. And it just seesaws over the grip, up and down. So I do this for, I don't know, a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes, fingers off the stick. Then I stop for a second, pause. Then I'll curl the index finger loosely in a relaxed manner over the top of the stick. The other 3 fingers are still off the stick. They're not touching the stick or motivating the stick in any way. I'm still bouncing from the grip. I'm not using the index finger to bounce the stick or motivate the stick. It's just lying on top of the stick in a relaxed, curved fashion. It's not straight out, it's not tense, it's slightly curled. This forms the fulcrum loop. The loop is formed by the index finger curling over the stick and the thumb. There's the fulcrum loop, the circle. So Freddie called the fulcrum loop. So I'll do that for a few minutes. Keep the same feel as the previous exercise where the fingers were off the stick. And just bounce from the grip. After a few minutes of that, I'll pause again, and I'll close the 3rd and 4th fingers, keeping the same feel. I've now taken the index finger back off the stick. The 1st and 2nd fingers are not motivating the stick. They are not touching the stick in any way. And the 3rd and 4th fingers are closed with the pads of the fingers touching the palm at all times, in contact with the palm at all times. That's the 2nd exercise, 3rd exercise. The 4th exercise is the on exercise, where I put the index finger back on top of the stick. The 2nd finger can also curl loosely and gently on top of the stick to form the left-hand traditional grip, and I continue the exact same feel as the 1st exercise. And this is the on exercise. I'm bouncing from the grip. The weight shift takes place over the grip, from tip to ass end to tip. And I do this for a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes. You know, no big crusade to be made over this, just to loosen the wrists and get the feel of the bounce. Then what we would do is we take the finger control book by Roy Burslew Malin, and we start at page 14, 8th notes. 8th notes is rests, and the exercise, that page goes thusly. 1, bounce up. Same feel as the previous exercises, only now I'm in rhythm. I'm playing whatever the exercises dictate. The 2nd line of page 14, 1 and 2, bounce up, up, bounce up. Let the last stroke bounce up. The next line, line 3, 3, 1 and 2, 3, so on and so forth till you get to the bottom of the page. Then the next page is a continuous series of 8th notes, 1 and 2, and 1st line, doubles, 2nd line, 4 rights, 4 lefts. I'm going to repeat that line. The next line is 4 rights, 4 lefts, 4 in each hand. Always trampolining off the pad to get to the bottom of that page. The next page, page 16, is 8th note triplets. So the 1st line is 3 bounces in the left hand, 3 bounces in the right hand, over and over. All the way down to the page. Then you go to page, we would work on page 17, and that's 16th notes with the fulcrum wrist bounce. Forward each hand. Line 2, line 3, line 4. I would normally practice anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes each line when I was a kid and I had the energy and the patience. And after about 6, 8, 9 months of that, we were ready to begin the finger control, the actual finger bounce portion of the book. And it was the same 4 pages, pages 14 to 17, but using a finger bounce. By this time, the wrist muscles and the forearm muscles were developed to a high degree. And since the motors, the engines that actuate the fingers, are located in the wrist, it's of paramount importance that the student, the practicing drummer, he or she develop the wrist muscles first, and then approach the challenge of developing the fingers. And it'll be much easier. Your finger technique will be far and away superior, and relaxed and controlled. And I hope this little overview of the fulcrum wrist bounce gives you some insight to how to start to develop the wrists, which are the basis of the hand technique anyway. Thank you so much. Good night.